I'm Marshall Pruett. This is some French guy. Who the hell are you?
I thought we did that already.
Who the hell are you? That's right. Marshall Pruett, Sebastien Bourdais. Day one at the Roar before the 24 is done, my friend. Everyone's asking how stupid I am because I'm wearing short sleeves. You were bundled up with gloves. It's been a frosty day, my man. Tell me about this from a working style. Can you get value out of a day like this? Is it anything about speed? What do you do?
I mean, obviously, working on race stuff, I think you never know what the weather can be around here. So we could come back for the race and it could be 30-some degrees again. So yeah, I mean, there's always something to learn. I think we're definitely a bit on the harder edge of the tire right now for those temperatures. We don't really have something that suits the conditions because it's that far out of most of the conditions we usually run under. But yeah, always something to learn. Just putting miles on the car is always a little this or that. That's a bit different on the 4GT and everybody else's car. So always learning something.
So when I stepped out of the hotel this morning, it was 28, 29 degrees Fahrenheit. It warmed up to a lovely 32 by the time I got here. Crept up into the 40s, low 50s, I believe, maybe. But definitely a day where, we'll hope that this weather returns for the race if you want the data to make sense. And if not, then you and everyone else are going to have a lot of learning to do. So if we look at how people ran today in prototype, the Corvettes absolutely dominated free practice 1. Free practice 2, Cadillacs were fastest again, the number 5 Action Express car. Cool thing though, in free practice 2, we saw the Core Autosport WEC P2 Oreca jump up there. I know you're obviously in GT Le Mans with Ford, but do you like this kind of battle? Could it be a WEC car? Could it be a DPI?
Well, I think if there is a good battle between the WEC cars and the DPIs, then it's great. Mission accomplished. I think in theory the DPI should have the upper end, but I mean, obviously, it doesn't seem to be that straightforward. So we'll see how it goes. But it's just great to see a 20 car field in DP, in DP or whatever we call them, prototype. But at the end of the day, it should be a heck of a battle. It's going to change the face of the race as well. Just having that many quick cars running up front, and there's definitely quite a bit of traffic behind us, kind of honking and lights everywhere, and we're kind of stuck in the middle between the GTDs and those guys, so quite exciting.
We had Fernando Alonso here turning his first laps today. We got to see him at Indy. It was a big deal there. I think fans were really happy to see at Indy that he's signing autographs and really seemed to buy into the experience. A little bit that I was around him today, same thing. Signing autographs, seems to want to be plugged into things. Someone like yourself who's come from Formula One as well, and you know how isolated it can be. Do you appreciate the fact that Fernando says, okay, I'm an IMSA driver, at least for now?
Yeah, he's playing the game. I actually spoke to him yesterday a little bit, and he was just all smiles and happy to be there. And I think he's just a racer. He just likes to get his butt into any car and just try and be competitive. And obviously, with the talent he's got, it's not a problem. So, they got a quality ride, and I think they're going to figure it out and have fun, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, pretty happy. I think he'll have an easier time here. The crowd tends to be a little bit more scarce than Indy, so demands will be a bit more under control, which I think he'll like that. It's kind of in between phase. They probably should have done this first, and then Indy might have prepped him up for what was coming in May. But
there's like 400,000 people that come out here, minus 350,000. Let's talk about GTLM. The Porsches went 1-2. I believe you guys are about 0.2 off their fastest. Do sandbags get used on a day like this where it's really cold? How honest do we think those lap times were?
Well, it's funny, like this morning was cooler and it seemed like it was easier to extract faster performances out of the car. Theoretical, we're backing it up. It was theoretically a little faster, and we're a bit surprised by that. And then this afternoon, Joey got in the car. It clearly looked a lot harder, and we put new tires on, and it really wasn't that much better. So I don't know really what happened to the track. Just quite a bit of pickup and things. No, not sandbagging. I mean, we're not running low fuel and new tires or anything like that. But just like I said, we're working on race pace and trying to get the car the most comfortable and kind of diverse as possible. Just trying to have something that's easier to drive, that can be comfortable and fast whenever the conditions are.
So we have 20 prototypes, we have 9 GTLMs, we have 21 GT Daytonas. Those things are quick like a bunny on the straights. I know you're obviously focused on your program, but we did have Porsche fastest in GTD, Audi right behind that, BMW right behind that. Do you watch how their sessions go at all? Not necessarily while you're, during the session, but afterwards, or are they just traffic for you to be mindful of?
Yeah, the traffic, and obviously it's a very tough interaction with those guys because, like you said, some of them are faster than we are in the straight, which obviously makes the interaction very tricky. And then they have ABS, so they brake damn late.
Yeah.
Then they don't necessarily have the mid-corner grip with their different tires, but yeah, it's a tough car to interact with, and especially when you're having your own battle in the GT Le Mans class, and then you end up with a bunch of those guys. It gets pretty hairy out there. So, and then there's a bunch of gentleman drivers at the wheel. So sometimes different styles, different levels of commitment, and you never really know exactly what the guy's going to do, where he's going to hit the brakes. Sometimes you go for it, and the guy actually brakes later than you. So now you're really in a hole because you can't back out of it, and you really hope he sees you coming, otherwise you're in his side. So it is pretty tricky, and that's why that race is so difficult, because really it's a 23 hours of survival and then 1 hour sprint of all out racing, and all you want to do is just keep your nose clean. But sometimes just to keep your nose clean, it ain't that easy. The infield is quite narrow, so
my nose is getting stuffed, so I'm sure 24 hours of nose clean's hard.
Damn right. That's got more to do with the weather, right?
Well, I think so, hopefully, or my hygiene. A couple of quick house cleaning items. We did have a red flag or two today, but no major damage, which was a good thing. On a cold day like this, I was afraid we might. Oh, and it's Dirk Mueller here, and Joey Hand just walks by like we don't exist. Those are great teammates you have. Good Lord.
Yeah, and you see they're leaving, so that's great.
He's still working. We did have a couple of reds, no major problems, which was good. I was concerned the cold weather might catch some out, maybe some of the gentlemen drivers.
I'll tell you what, it was still pretty treacherous out there. I went on new tires, obviously dead cold. The outlap was not a very fun experience. And that's the one thing you don't want to do is crash Chip's car. So,
yes.
You don't get very popular during that. So especially
he's normally
testing,
so nice and warm, but that's the rare time when he's unhappy.
Mess up with his stuff,
We had the Mazda team. They missed the first session. One of their drivers told me that they had some new parts that showed up late, which is they prefer to spend the time installing those. The Bar 1 team also missed that session, which might tell us that they too are waiting on parts since the same chassis. Other than that, it's late, it's cold. What's for dinner, man?
You want to go home?
I do want to go home.
All right, well, for us, we got the usual chip dinner at the Roar, which is going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we don't have McMurray this year, so it ain't going to be that much, as fun as usual. But I think somebody still tried to drag him out, so we'll see. Maybe I'll show up for dinner.
Good. All right, I'm Pruett. He's Bourdais. Day 1 from the Roar in the books.
See you tomorrow, maybe if I'm hired again.
Maybe.